Oh no, you're muted, Kirk.
Welcome, everybody. I'm going to call this one a Mavs party. Welcome. I am Kirk Henderson and joined as always by Josh Bowe. We are coming to you at about 8:45 on Veterans Day, 11/11/2025. It has been a weird day. It has been a hilariously weird day. The Tuesday morning, you wake up to a notification. Mark Stein was the one who had it first that the Mavericks firing of Nico Harrison could be imminent, followed by, I don't know, probably like within 5 to 10 minutes of Shams Charania saying the firing is going to happen at 10 o'clock.
That was so funny.
That was so funny. And like, that makes me like, there's elements this we should get into where it's like how much of this was sort of choreographed. None of it ultimately matters though, because Nico Harrison is no longer the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks. The thing which we had all wanted to happen happened. And I find myself in a bit of a state of shock. I don't know about you, but I specifically, and I went and found this, I actually tweeted out the clip. Tim McMahon came on our show March 15th after Kyrie Irving had torn his ACL to talk about his book after the Luka trade. We'd had about 6 weeks to sort of sit with it. And I kind of went at him. I said, they need to trade AD right now. They need to start all this over right now. And Tim was just like, nope, they can't do it. They won't do it. That's not a thing that makes sense. They don't own their picks. They just can't commit to that course of action. I don't see it happening. And it's so funny because sometimes you get exactly what you ask for. And like this is literally what I have asked for. I wanted the Mavericks to fire Nico Harrison because I thought that was the thing that would happen, that was within the realm of possibility. And I want them to start the search to figuring out how to build this team around Cooper Flag. So, you wrote a piece last night, basically, which is so funny. It's like your stuff has great shelf life. Your piece had a shelf life of 120 minutes.
Yes.
But so what were your thoughts kind of as you were in and out throughout the day, because you had a busy day at work and it was just kind of, you were checking in and out throughout the thing.
I mean, I have to eat crow because I've been saying for a while I didn't think he was going to get fired anytime soon. I'm just shocked. I mean, looking back, like I feel kind of dumb because soon as we saw,
curious. That's interesting.
No. I'll let you know, like not totally dumb, but I feel like as soon as we knew Patrick Dumont was at the game last night, it was done. Like that was a done deal. Like everyone kind of raised the like eyebrow about that. But looking back, like, of course, like, why would he be here? Cause he's never here. Like, he shows up at like what the season opener and maybe a big game, maybe like Christmas or a big game. Like for him to show up to this game, like we should have known. Yeah, he's gone. Like he's like, why else would he be in town? Why would he be here at the game and doing this? So that's the part I feel dumb about. I think I'm just shocked that they pulled the ripcord. I really thought that they were going to give Nico a mulligan year. Like I really thought the Cooper Flag bought him this season. Now, if they didn't have Cooper Flag, I don't think he makes it to the season opener, honestly. Mm-hmm. I thought, okay, they got Cooper Flag, the Kyrie injury, and like Nico. I mean, I just kind of assumed he bullshitted Dumont into agreeing to trade away Luka. I just figured he could bullshit his way to buy him another season. And I guess I underestimated the back. Like, there was a deep pain in the community that I think I didn't expect to last and linger as long and as loud as it did. I underestimated that a little bit, and I kind of apologize to any Mavs fans that might be like, yeah, no shit, dude, this was a big deal. So like it was bad. Like it was bad and it was sustained. Like there was a part of me that thought this is gonna, like when Luka got traded, I was like, this is gonna be bad for a month, then the team's gonna be bad, and then it's gonna turn to apathy and no one's gonna care. But people cared and they kept on it, and then that coincides with the team is also a disaster. Like if the Mavericks are 3-8, if they are 5-7, if they are that's 11 games, so that doesn't even make sense. 5 and 6, if they're 5 and 6, 6 and 5, if they're in that range, is it that bad? It's a perfect storm. Like people were still passionate about how this trade made them felt, and the team was terrible. Like, I mean, you can't get 3-8 start. That's bad. Even we even are at our most pessimistic. I don't think we anticipate start the season 3-8.
Yeah. And I think one thing you're identifying, and I'm this is so you guys gotta understand, Josh and I talk all day long, but sometimes we don't talk specifically about pod related events because we want to like keep it like a real discussion. And he just hit on something that I had never considered, which I think about the Mavs a lot, which is so that's kind of difficult to do. What you're describing is a concept. I think it was like when Nixon won way back when, where it's like there's a concept like considered like the silent majority. And one of the things that we live in is you and I both inhabit these online spaces where people are incredibly fucking loud, and we over-index the wrong things a lot. It is so easy to do. So I think we had both, and really our website even too, had sort of over-indexed how many people were just ready to watch basketball as opposed to people that were still really pissed about this. Really pissed about this. And you know, you saw it like that game last night was like, I'd agree. We talked about it, like we didn't really discuss this portion of it very much because we just didn't want to, but people were mad. And Cooper Flagg's mom retweeted something about how the Mavs shouldn't have to hear this. The Mavs after the game, there was like 4 of them that have issued stuff on and off record about how much they don't like this. And my heart kind of goes out to them because it's got to suck to play in those circumstances. It's not their fault, right? But it's also emblematic of just how poorly this was handled, soup to nuts, from like the beginning. And people like, you know, when I'm really mad, I just sort of assume I'm on my own island. Like, I don't expect anyone to actually agree with me. Like, I love trying to convince people, but I don't expect people to be mad like me. So it's like when I had sort of made my mental calculus to, okay, I'm going to start this season, I want to watch the team. I think we did our best to really shy away from, Nico sucks. But the problem becomes, and this is really apart from the Luka trade, and this is the thing that started to piss me off about how this is already being discussed, is the Luka trade ends. Okay, you got Kyrie, Anthony Davis, etc. And Kyrie gets hurt. From what happens from Kyrie Irving getting hurt forward is why Nico really got fired quickly. It's not just the Luka trade. He built a team that cannot play basketball. Like I work for this new company called Offside, and someone put up one of my colleagues put up a video about how it's not Nico's fault. It's not Nico's fault that the Mavericks are dead last in shooting. It's not Nico's fault that Anthony Davis is hurt. It's not just a whole bunch of it's not Nico's fault stuff. And like, to which I didn't want to be a douche canoe to my new colleagues. I don't really know him, but I'm like, you're just describing a bunch of shit that is actually Nico's fault because
he decided to invest in Anthony Davis.
He decided, like, the Mavericks can't shoot because he built a team of non-shooters. They can't score in the paint because he built a bunch of players that can't make it to the paint. Right. And it's like that was the thing that really led us to here. Because Patrick Dumont comes in and sees all this stuff. Patrick Dumont also sees all the numbers, like the arena, the attendance, the lack of sponsorships. I mean, gosh, man, you and I have both been reached out to independently by companies that were like, nope, we're not sponsoring the Mavs anymore. Like, they have been like just like speed bagged to death, or like just death by 1,000 cuts with how the Mavericks have ended up in this situation. So it's like you roll all this together, and then they're like this, and it's this bad, and there's not really a lot of light at the end of the tunnel. Like, the Mavericks are not a 3-7. Like, they're not going to win 30% of their games. Like, I really do think they're closer to a 50, like a 500 team. I really think that could be in the cards, but it's not what they determined and set out to do. So it's like at a certain point, I almost find myself a little impressed with Patrick Dumont for cutting bait like this, because he had every built-in excuse to just keep it going for another 40 games. Like, I think Nico was done eventually, but I'd sort of set my sights around maybe Christmas, which is really only 10 more games, 15 more games. But it's like that's just where I land.
No, yeah. It's hard to want to give him credit for that because, I mean, it's ultimately kind of his fault. I come from a world where managers do not admit mistakes.
No,
I know. That's fair. Yeah, it's a weird today is weird because I feel for Mavs fans, because on one hand it's like it's good, it's objectively good, it's good for the community, it's good for the fan base, it's good for the organization, it's good for literally everyone. Like the players, the players don't have to deal with this nonsense anymore. The organization, who kind of had to act like meat shields, like the public facing aspects of the organization, the broadcasters, the media teams, who had to kind of tiptoe around this whole thing, you know, putting Matt Riccardi on their podcast after the lottery, when it's like, I've never heard the assistant GM talk before, and now he is, because their GM, like they had a GM that was neither seen nor heard. He was Buster Bluth from Arrested Development, the Milford Academy, where children should be neither seen nor heard. Like, you had an out of sight, out of mind GM, which leaves everyone involved in the organization to have to cover for that: players, coaches, staff, employees. And then, you know, on the other side of it, the outside of the organization, you just obviously have the heartbreak and the sadness and the anger and the grief from the community. And so that makes today like there was a lot of, you know, I can finally like come back to this team sentiment I saw. And I'm sure there's a big weight off the backs of a lot of Mavericks employees today and the players. And so that part is good. It had to happen. The other part, though, it's like a double-sided coin, or it's it's the other side of the coin. It's good that this happened. Boy, oh boy, does the last 6 months feel like a big fucking waste of time.
Go for it. Expound. Why?
Like, why didn't they do this before? Like, the fact that this got dragged out as long as it did, like, they traded Luka, and like, it's what you mentioned this. You made a really good, the point you made earlier today. You're like, it's one thing to trade Luka. Like, we could get to a place where even if I don't like it, you can justify it rationally. Like, they didn't even get a good return. Like, it just is like, you just nuked the franchise. And for what? Like, for what? What was gained? Like, I'm glad that there are the fans and the community and everyone can start to move on, and we can rebuild, and they can rebuild the trust. They can rebuild the team. They can move a new path forward around their new young star, Cooper Flagg. But on the other part of it, I'm just like, holy crap. Like, what a waste. Like, what a waste of time. Like, we had to go through all this BS only to arrive at the conclusion that we arrived at February 2nd, you know, hours after the trade. Was this guy's got to go, and we had to stall. And you think about the time wasted. They could have gotten this process started sooner. Like, now they have to look for a GM in the middle of the season, and when all the candidates have already, a lot of the games are like, it's just like, it's good that it happened. It's better that it happens than it not happen. But it just kind of, it gives me this, like, what is the point of all of this?
Oh, the port, like this is a great comment in the chat. At CL41 says Nico ruined the life of his coworkers. They're like every single person downhill from the Mavericks had to eat shit for 6 months.
He affected the livelihoods of a lot of people, us included. Like,
I mean, and let's be clear. And let's be clear on this, because I just want to get this out of the way. He is an unrepentant asshole and deserves exactly what comes to him for the rest of his life. He gets fired, and the first thing he changes. So this is how I know he's a lurking son of a bitch on social media. So if you're watching this, Nico, he went to his Instagram page and changed it to unemployed. He's not added or done anything with it in like months.
Yeah, he's never. So it's like social media. I don't think.
I just, you know, it's really incredible. It's just incredible, the kind of just sheer arrogance of the man on the way out the door. Part of me kind of likes it, like but it's,
you like having a villain.
I love it. Well, I appreciate conviction, but it's like, this isn't some biblical test where everyone in the world is telling you you're wrong and you have to stand up for what you believe in. Like, this is basketball, and you ruined lots of people's, like, just mental health, their jobs, all sorts of stuff. All for what? For
what?
He added girl dad as well.
Like, I just can't get over it. The think about how much they could, like, it does, nothing could have changed what happened. Like, the trade is done, but imagine where they would be if he was fired in April. Like, they would already, like, again, it feels like we've been in stasis for like 6 months. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
it's just,
did you see
all the headaches, the fighting, and the community just being at each other's throats? Like, it sucked. Like, all of this sucked. None of this was fun. I didn't have a lot of fun doing this stuff for like the last 6 months because it's just annoying. But again, I don't want that to take away from people that are generally happy and trying to rebuild their relationship
it's like,
with the team. It's a good thing that happened.
And like, to the guy I just blocked on YouTube who's like, why are you guys still talking about this? It's like, I'll just say that like a small part of me understands that point of view, where it's just like, okay, let's get back to the business at hand. But we do it like, this is a literal postmortem. And that's fine. So my favorite thing that I saw today was from Locked On Mavs host Isaac Harris, who, look, I have argued a ton about basketball with Isaac. I actually think he is responsible for some of the takes that have turned me into like a rage monster. Like the JaVale McGee is going to be the best offseason edition take. Like, that one just kills me and will kill me till the end of time. But he tweeted this out today where he said, you know, he was the one who in April asked Nico Harrison why shouldn't you be fired? Like all the legacy media and people in that room and folks who are always answering they're asking their interesting sort of coded phrase questions. Isaac was just like, why do you still have a job, bro? Which was amazing, by the way, because Nico's answer sucked and he said he thought he had still done a good job. So apparently on media day, Nico stopped Isaac and said that was the most disrespectful question he had ever been asked. Like, this is why I get so infuriated when I see the Stephen A. Smiths of the world and anybody else out there that's like, well, you know, Nico really he was pushed into doing the Luka trade. This is all like Nico believes his own bullshit, and he will go to his grave talking about that first half from Anthony Davis because he doesn't understand basketball. Like, is now the time? I should probably insert some ads here in a second, but Tim Cato had just a magical little anecdote from a source.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I love that we're in the emptying the notebook phase.
I fucking love the emptying.
Everyone's gonna start emptying all the dirt, all the anecdotes, all the stories that they couldn't reveal because they didn't want to burn their sources. Now it doesn't matter.
That's right. That's right. So let's take a quick break here, and then we'll talk about some more stuff. So if you want to support the show, the best ways to do that are to listen to the ads, which I'm going to put here shortly. The second best way to support the show is literally directly. There's a couple of links in the show notes and in the comments. The third best way to support our show is to tell your friends, tell your family. I know I'm an acquired taste. I know a lot of people flat out don't like me, but Josh and I like this team. We like talking about basketball. And if you want honest, pragmatic talk about the Dallas Mavericks, here is a place to get it. We will be right back with some more chicanery. All right, audio audience, thank you so much for listening to that. If you haven't subscribed to the show, I 5,000 subscribers randomly would like that by the end of the year. Don't think it's going to happen because we're like barely at 3,700, but would be cool. I'd be excited. Okay, so I wanted to talk. I don't even have that Cato article. Do I have it pulled up on my phone? He gave do you know the gist of what we're talking about here?
I just saw what was posted in our Slack before we started.
Share that because that's enough. Like that's
what was a staffer. Cato reported that a staffer shared with him Nico's like board or something, like talent board, and he had Drew Holiday as
in the same tier
or up, or above a tier. Was it above a tier?
Here it is. I found it. One team source recalls a document where Harrison placed Drew Holiday within the same tier of talent as Nikola Jokic. I mean, look, like
Drew Holiday's actually having like a pretty good resurgent season. But
for a corpse. I mean, this could have been 2 years ago because Nico's been GM for almost 4 years, and I want to give a little bit of leeway there, but like that's not
okay.
That's it. Like
2 years ago, Jokic was still winning an MVP. Like,
that's telling on yourself in a way that's wildly uncomfortable. Like it just So you think Luka, and you don't particularly care for Luka. You don't value Luka's contributions, and you don't value Jokic's contributions. Is where I'm going to leave that one. So now we're kind of in the the post Hayes, we're going to start to see some more things. I really think that the die was set when it was reported by Tim McMahon that Nico Harrison was siding with AD and trying to get AD to play on Saturday against the Wizards, and the medical staff surpassed him to go to Patrick Dumont. That's bad.
Like, yeah, I mean, he was desperate, man. Desperate. He was desperate.
And I think that is also another reason why they had to move on from him, because you don't leave a desperate man the keys.
Well,
it's crazy.
I've been thinking about that desperation, that word, because Nico was obviously hell bent on winning a championship as fast as possible and proving his vision correct.
Yes.
And we talked about this, and I wrote about this over the summer. Their summer did not, and I wrote about this in the thing I wrote this morning. Their offseason did not reflect desperation.
Good. That's a good point.
And now that we're starting to look back on this in hindsight, because at the time I was like, why are they doing this? Like, I agree they should not blow all their assets to try to fix this, to try to win a championship this season. Call it a wash. Kyrie's hurt. You have Cooper Flag. So I agree with what they did. But in my head, I was like, why is Nico doing this? Like, he is publicly stated he wants to win a championship ASAP. He said that he thinks this team can win a championship. This was after the Kyrie injury, like his exit interview in April. Like, he was like, we want to compete for a championship next season or whatever he said. So why did he slow roll the summer? Like, because remember everyone got on to me about, like, because I was like, man, they're going to trade Cooper Flag for Kevin Durant.
So I think I have a take for that.
Yeah, I know. I think I do too. You go first.
So it might be the same take. My take is that he has zero, like, just judging by the kind of players that he likes, and move Kobe away from this. I don't think Nico Harrison has any appreciation for on-ball creation. I think, like, look at he thought Kyrie was enough. Like, even back before Kyrie got hurt, he thought Kyrie was enough.
And as great as Kyrie is, when he's been a number one option, his team,
it's just not fair to him. It's not what he does. Like, Kyrie is the second in command. And so I really think that he just didn't value that element and was really truly focused on the defensive element, where it's like, look, the Mavericks, I think I heard Nick Wright utter this today. I don't know where he was getting this, but he kept repeating that the Mavericks are like third in the league in defense, but they're 29th in offense. So the overarching point being is that the Mavericks were pretty darn good on defense, but if you are really horrible on offense, it just doesn't matter. Not in the modern NBA, not with the way it's played. So
no, exactly.
What was your take?
My take was, so I'm going a different direction. Was it less that Nico didn't pursue it because he didn't care about that, or was he muzzled this summer? Like, if you think about Dumont stepping in and being like, hey, don't play Anthony Davis. You think about the stories that we heard coming out from, like, Tim McMahon and other reporting kind of like near the lottery about, like, the safe in instituting checks and balances for Nico, wanting to hire a senior executive to kind of keep Nico in line. Like, did Nico want to do a bunch of shit this summer, and was he denied by Dumont? Because Dumont was like, hey man, we can't mortgage. Like, was Dumont like, I don't want you to mortgage any more assets until we see what this is. I wonder, maybe not, because I think we probably would have heard more about that.
No, I like that as a theory, because they were so
were so gung ho to make, like, and think about Nico. He makes moves all the since he got to Dallas, like, his trademark is he makes trades and he kind of upends the roster at every chance he gets. Like, every offseason, every trade deadline, he makes a big move. So the fact that they were so quiet this summer, I wonder if it's not because Nico tried and failed. I wonder if it's because they wouldn't let him. Well, which goes back to, why is he your general manager then? Which, remember, we wrote about before. Like, if you can't trust your general manager to speak in public, if you don't want him to exist in the public eye, all this stuff, why is he your general manager?
Well, there's also, I think there's one of the things we just don't discuss enough, because you and I don't like this part of it. It's just boring. It's like the Mavs are like $900,000 away from crossing over the second apron. Like they don't have the money to do this sort of stuff. So they're already up against
trade assets.
They do have some trade assets, and there's the luxury tax payment that's coming for this season is approaching like $35 million. And then next season, because it's a repeater tax issue, it's approaching $100 million. Like these things play in. The Adelsons are wealthy people, very wealthy people. Some of the wealthy people, but wealthy people have one thing in common with us common folk is that they like to keep their money. And the Adelsons have also, frankly, lit a bunch of it on fire in North America the last year. And so if there at some point in time, there's going to be a prayer meeting where they get together and say, guys, we got to stop lighting money on fire. Where are the ways we can cut? And the Mavericks are going to be on that list.
Yeah, it's the Simpsons Bill Gates joke where he's like, you didn't think I got rich by writing a bunch of checks. Like,
and that's my small term take, because it's like, I think they could have made some moves, but it's also the taking on of long-term money. See, that's where the trade assets that they do currently have are kind of interesting, because the team is more expensive next year.
Yeah.
That's where it's like
the extensions for Gafford and Washington kick in,
and Kyrie's it's second too, and there's AD's is 60 million, so it's like the Mavericks are just absurdly expensive and very bad. And what's we're 27 minutes into the show, we didn't really want to talk much more than a half hour, but I want you guys to keep these things in mind as they seek out a general manager, because this team is not like Dumont's letter was PR stuff laden with the fact that he's not actually allowed to say like Luka Doncic's name and things like that. My expectations for the Mavs in the coming years are a real reset, and they don't have any of their assets. As McMahon's and started listing earlier today, it's like 27 through 30. None of this is news to anyone who's paid any level of attention. The Mavericks have to find a way to start recouping the war chest in order to figure this out. Like, this is not an easy thing to do. We were worried at the time of the trade. So before they went to the Western Conference Finals, to the NBA Finals, we were all sort of worried. We're like, man, this looks awesome, but this is expensive.
They are pot committed. Yeah.
Yes. So it's truly remarkable. Remarkable that we've ended up here.
Yeah. I mean, the go forward is they got to find a new GM. Hopefully they actually go through a proper search. The little story that the little tidbit McMahon noted about Mark Cuban trying to give Dumont his plan is pretty funny.
That reminds me of in the waning days of every election season, they trot out whatever former president or former governor to like participate in rallies, and everyone's like, yay, because no one cares anymore. And I'm just going to say this. I said this on Twitter. Jack wrote a piece that I just published during the show about this. We've had the Mark Cuban experience. The Mark Cuban experience was outstanding from 2000 to 2011. Following the Dallas Mavericks winning the title, Mark started to get more involved. Mark starting to get more involved was what eventually pushed Donnie to being kind of bored, to what led Haralabob joining the organization, and the clusterfuck that ended up where they were in during the 2020 draft whenever Donnie Nelson stormed out because there was no hierarchy. I'm not interested in Cuban anymore. I don't want to kick Cuban in the knees anymore, but Cuban said he was going to run a what did he call it? A search for a GM. Like they were going to bring in people and they didn't. They brought in Jason Kidd and Nico Harrison, and then used Dirk Nowitzki as a meat shield to sell Jason Kidd to the organization, because people forget this now, but Jason Kidd hadn't been working for a year because he was with the Lakers, but before he was with the Lakers, he was out of the NBA. He had no NBA prospects. So Cuban sort of helped revive his career while bringing in the snake that became Nico Harrison, which ate the Mavericks. So,
yeah. But yeah, they gotta find the new GM. I mean, they don't have to tear it down, but like Anthony Davis and Klay Thompson can't be on this roster past the trade deadline. I don't think. Maybe you can get through to the summer if you can get a better deal, but they have to do everything they can to ensure that they have the best, because this is not only is this their last draft pick for the foreseeable future, this is also a really good draft. Like this would be a great draft to have a top 3 or 5 pick. So I'm I'm hopeful, I'm hopeful because the interim guys, I don't know how much influence they're going to have right now, but those Finley and Riccardi are draft guys. Like they both got their what do you call it? Cut their teeth in their front office work coming up was through the draft. Like they were both, Riccardi had some really good drafts with the Nets, and he helped scout when that team drafted really well before they blew it all up to get the KD, Kyrie, James Harden thing. And then Finley has been very involved with the draft, starting with Dennis Smith Jr., which I think still was a good pick, but stuff came up. I wonder if that's what they think too. I'm very curious to see. And even if AD, they don't want to trade it, like how does Clutch not look at this and be like, we got to get our guy out of here? Like it feels like it makes too much sense for both parties to be like, hey, let's help each other out. Sure. We need to go in a different direction. AD, this was not your fault. You didn't ask to get traded here. You didn't ask to be the poster child for the worst trade in the history of professional sports, at least since Babe Ruth trade. Let's get you to where you want to go. Where do you want to go? Let's get you there, even if we have to take it on the chin. Chicago makes sense, like that, just narratively and situation wise, and what the assets Chicago has, I think would interest what the Mavericks want. And then get Clay. Sorry, Clay. We know this isn't what you signed up for.
No, he knows. They'll do right by all these people.
Yeah, I think they got Gafford. Send him away. You don't need a really expensive backup big man when you're trying to rebuild. Play Moussa Cisse 48 minutes a night. Like I said, everything will be solved. And go from there. Yeah, build around Flag. You keep Kyrie if you want, because I've seen some people that they need to also trade Kyrie, and I'm like, I don't know, you need some adults in the room. Like I think if Kyrie wants to stay, I would certainly have him in the locker room
right now.
He's not playing this season. I don't think he's going to play this season anyway. Yeah. Especially now. So yeah, that's a path forward. I'm very curious to see what they do. The trades aren't going to start happening until December, because that's when people that signed contracts in the summer can be eligible to be traded. So we'll see. I would be shocked if they don't make some big moves to move the veterans out. It's just
tough. Like the AD of it all, $54 million is a lot of money.
I know.
I'm not really sure what's going to happen there. I will say, and I said this in the earlier show, I feel, just based on some things I've been told, I know a lot of people want a full clear out of the front office. It just, every third person I talk to is so conspiratorial, and they're like, the NBA did this or this, that, and the other. And it's like, no one will believe, no matter how often Shams Charania, Tim Cato, Tim McMahon, Nico Harrison says with their own voices, this was done by Nico because Nico wanted to do it, and Nico built this, all yada yada. Like Nico. He takes full responsibility. Got to give him credit for that. There's still people out there who are like, nope, he was forced into doing it. Nope, this isn't a thing. Nope.
Go ahead.
I can't remember where I was going with that.
I was going to say, can we talk about the people that think, I want to address this conspiracy that Nico
I remember
the fall guy.
It had to do with Finley. I do. So let me finish that point.
Yeah.
So it's like, a lot of people think Finley and Riccardi were in on it in some way, shape, or form. I know with almost 100% certainty that Michael Finley was not. And he took the beer from Nico, and that's why from Luka, and that's why people make that assumption. And Matt Riccardi didn't know his name 6 months ago. Sorry. Go ahead.
This whole Nico is a fall guy and just doing what the owners wanted. That's a fun theory, but if that's a theory, then Nico would have resigned. Why would you willingly be the fall guy, knowing that if you do this, your NBA career is over? If the ownership really came up to Nico and pressed them, we're like, hey, you need to trade Luka. We don't want him on the team, and you're going to take responsibility for this. Any normal human being would have been like, okay, I quit. And then you can go get an interview with a job and be like, hey, I'm the architect of the 2024 Western Conference champion Dallas Mavericks, and he could still get another job. Unless the Adelsons are paying him under the table or something. That's the only conspiracy that would even make sense. But that part of it, why would he willingly be the fall guy? Just quit, just go work for another team. So it gets silly to me, but we don't have to think about that anymore, though. Like, it's over. Like,
I do like this Bill Simmons tweet from like right after the trade where he says Pelinka should probably wait a few hours before sending Nico the "I'm sorry, dude, this sucks" text. Well, that is my only. If Nico pops up anywhere in Southern California, this podcast, well, maybe me, will be calling for like NBA level investigations. So,
yep.
Okay. I think we're done here. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I think so.
You're going on the Strong Side podcast tomorrow. We'll and if you don't want to do this podcast, tell me. I'll bring someone else on because there's like a lot of Josh the last which is great. Good for you. So with the Mavericks play somebody tomorrow night. I'll remember it's the Suns. That's gonna be fun.
The Suns. Yeah, Phoenix is feisty. So
well, and there's just history there, even with
for sure.
Doesn't matter who's in the uniform. These teams have history. So
yep.
All right, you guys know how to find us. Sorry for so much podcasting in your feed. I think there's a total of 5 over the last like 29 hours, but that's just the way it goes. Kirk and Josh, check it out. Everything over at Mavs Moneyball. We will talk to you tomorrow. Be good. Go Mavs.